Hello, hello, hello. It's been 2 full weeks since we've heard from Norm Winski. I can't contain it any longer. It's September 24th, 2022. Norm's going to tell us what's going to happen, and Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. First, I'd like to review what I said when I was last on your show was that way back on the 3rd, I think, uh, on the during over the and then we had over the Labor Day weekend. We had, by the way, AC is after the close. And if you need any help on any of these technical terms, give me a call. I'll give you a free class. So Venus was perihelion over the Labor Day 3-day weekend. And that's when Venus in its 225-day cycle is closest to the sun. And so we're looking at Venus cycles, anything that is connected to the sun. So you had cattle, copper, corn, cotton, gold, sugar, wheat. And then we had a big three-way cluster the next weekend with Mercury turning retrograde in Libra. And so anytime we have Mercury, we have grains. And by the way, these all these cycle points are indicate the stock market, because the stock market is the big basket of everything versus the commodities are narrow filters and only respond to certain things. So anytime we have Mercury, we have grains. And then because it was in Libra, we will be looking at sugar. And of course, we have the wheat as a grain. And then we had a full moon in Pisces. And so we round up the usual suspects for a full moon: financials, grains, precious metals. And then because it was in Pisces, we're going to take a look at oil. And then we had Jupiter to the U.S. natal chart. What is that? We take a snapshot of where the planets were when our country was founded on July the 4th, 1776, and compare those planets to where the planets are now. And at that time, Jupiter was 90 degrees to Jupiter on the 4th of July of 1776. Anytime we have a planet to the U.S. chart, we look at U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. So let's see how it came out. So we had nothing. If it goes sideways, we do nothing. That's a yellow box. And we had the first point we had there, corn was kind of going sideways, so we did nothing. Then we went up here. We had the high day of the month, but the entry was not good. We were way down here at the bottom of the bar. And so unfortunately, I had to mark that as we had 2 points there, had to mark those as misses. Even though they had the right day, but it was just too early. You had a huge move up there, and that's just too much risk in for corn, especially when corn doesn't, that was like 25-cent move. You probably would have gotten stopped out there. Beans did it even more extreme. They were way down at the bottom there, and then they topped the next day. So I had to mark the 2 misses for beans there too. Wheat was much friendlier. We did have a miss back here with the Venus point over the Labor Day weekend, but then we had the 3 points lined up there for a short-term top in wheat, and then things started getting better with cattle. We were one day early and just a little bit in price heat there against us on the cattle. Top the next thing, they had a nice pullback in cattle. Here's the cotton. Here you had a nice big drop there, and then you made your low the next day in the cotton, and then you had a bit of a rally there on the cotton. Here's the sugar was very good. You rallied into the Venus point there over the Labor Day weekend for a nice top, and then we were one day early for the sugar over here for the moon. And then the copper, we hit the low of the month, and copper is a big ticket item. I think it rallied over 30 cents. Let's say if you caught 30 cents, that's every penny is $250. So that's $7,500 right there from here to about there. And so that's big money. All right, then you had silver. That did not work. It's somewhat similar to the corn and the bean type pattern there, where you had the high day, but you were getting in at the bottom of the bar. Not good. Here, gold was much friendlier. You rallied up there, made a top, a little short-term top there, made a much bigger top right here on the gold on that, and then it was down, down, down. Here, crude just kept going, so that's a miss. Red, is a miss. Green is good. And then we pulled back here. The S&P was excellent, maybe my best market of the month. Pulled back into the Labor Day. I was on Labor Day weekend. I forecasted a low for that Tuesday. We were closed Monday, and then we made the low there. And then I said, if we rally into the weekend, look for a top about Monday the 12th, and that's what happened. And then we went off the cliff on Tuesday the 13th, and it was a big down. It's been pretty much down ever since. So there we go. Here's bonds going sideways, so we did nothing. The currencies were really great. They all danced to the moon, had 2 points with the US and the moon here. And the next day we made a low right there, and then it was up on the way. The dollar, I don't know how many years you have to go back to see the dollar is now over 112 on the dollar index. That's about high as I remember in a long time. Anyway, here's the Aussie dollar rallied into the moon and then topped a little bit higher the next day and then down, down, down. Here's the British pound, did the same thing. Here's the Canadian dollar, did pretty much the same thing. Here's the the euro. It topped on that day. And here's your yen, made a top there and had a little bit of a pullback. Here's the Swiss franc. You rally the next day, okay, and then big down. And so they were all within one day of big turns. And I think I hit 100% on the currencies there. So we add up all the greens and the reds. You had 21 winners, red 7 misses out of 28 for 75% winners. Now I'm going to show you something I seldom ever show on these interview programs because I don't want because it's toward the end of the month. I'll do it, but I don't want to give this away for free. But I draw this blue line. If some of you might have heard of the Bradley model, Bradley inspired me back in the early 70s. I loved his concept. I didn't like his parameters, so I basically rebuilt the whole thing. And so I draw this blue line a couple of weeks in advance before I published the monthly letter. The monthly letter went out Sunday night, the 28th of August. You see it starts on the 29th of August, then runs through the 30th of September. And then I draw this blue line in advance. I put these red arrows on here and these astro points on here to show where they're likely big turning points for, like here, that was the 12th. We had the Mercury turning retrograde and the full moon and a red arrow there. And you see what happened there. That was a big top there. That was the high of the month. That's right. And then we went down, 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 following the blue line pretty good here. And now it's been updated as of Friday's close. And now guess what? That's a new moon. The moon says the moon is conjunct lined up with the sun, and that's a new moon. And so there you go. And we got another big point coming up, big cluster coming up at the end of the month. So I'm going to now talk about the future. Here we go. This is the 23rd weekend AC after the close. We got a new moon this weekend. And anytime we have a new moon, we round up the usual suspects, financials, grains, precious metals. And then because it's in Libra, we got sugar and additionally wheat on top of being a grain. And then we have 2 points to the U.S., one the night of the 26th and one the night of the 29th. And then we have a big two-way cluster here with 2 Mercury cycles converging over the weekend of the 30th. That's huge for grains, always stocks, but in particular grains, corn, soybeans, wheat. And then we also, and then I give you a sneak peek here. First Monday in October there, we have a point to the U.S. chart Monday night. So that's what's coming up. Let's see, if you haven't seen me before, I've been doing this a long time. I started investing when I was in college, made enough money to buy a membership on the Chicago Board Options Exchange in 1975 when it was a fledgling exchange. And I did that for 12 years, also traded on the Board of Trade. And I've studied all this stuff, Gann, Elliott theory, astrophysics, astrology, music cycles, Fibonacci, all this stuff. And there you go. So if you'd like to get a hold of me, I can help you. Maybe I can help you. And here's how to get a hold of me. I'm in beautiful Naples, Florida, 239-594-3939. Here's my email, Winski, Nwinski, at NEMBARQMAIL.com, or you can call me on Skype at Nwinski_1. Looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff. Everybody have a great weekend.
Norm, just one winning month after the other. You're terrific. We'll see you back in a couple of weeks. Fair enough?
You bet, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye.